About 4 years ago, I decided to open a restaurant. I had no idea what I was doing or where to begin. All I knew was that I was going to need help, and a lot of it. In fact, that was my biggest concern at the time. How would I ever convince anyone to come work with me? And with the restaurant industry's notorious turnover rate, how would I get them to stay? From my own personal experience, I'd seen restaurants turn over staff anywhere from 2 to 5 times in as little as the first 6 months. So I reached out to one of my oldest and closest friends and asked for help. He wasn't in the restaurant business at the time, but I knew he was the right man for the job. When it came to restaurants, we shared the same ideas and beliefs. But more importantly, the same was true when it came to people. So back in 2011, we set out and began to build our team. One by one, we found 25 other people willing to join us, many of whom are still with us today, 4 years later. And if you've ever worked in the restaurant industry, you know restaurant years are like dog years. Every one feels like 7. So fast forward to today. We're about to turn 2 years old. We've gone from 27 to 64 staff members. In our first year, both Bon Appetit and GQ magazine named us Best New Restaurant in America. And to this day, people still line up outside the restaurant before we open, hoping to get a seat. So how did we get here? And how did we do so in such a short period of time? I can honestly say that it is 100% due to our employees. Our talented, ambitious, caring, passionate, and well-dressed employees. That was New Year's Eve. It was fun. As a chef, it's strange to say this, but I often remind our staff that our food only accounts for 40% of what we do. Sure, we have to nail 39.5% of it, but at the end of the day, our success is dependent upon our people. If there's one thing that I've learned over the past 4 years, it's that we're not in the restaurant business. We're in the people business. So let's go back to when we opened. I thought we had a pretty good chance that we'd be at least somewhat successful. I mean, we had good food, good service, good atmosphere, and we were charging a pretty fair price. And when we opened, we were a hit. We even made a profit in our first month. Mind you, it was only about $750, but for a restaurant, that's actually pretty good. But as time went on, I started to think, maybe we weren't really in the restaurant industry. I started to think, maybe we were in the hospitality industry. I mean, our end goal was not to serve good food or provide good service. Our end goal was to make guests feel good. Our food, our service, those were just the tools we used to make the people happy. They were the means to our end. So as the praise and the awards continued, I started to wonder, was there something more that was helping us achieve such success? I mean, other people had obviously figured out that the restaurant industry wasn't about serving food. It was about hospitality. Danny Meyer even wrote a New York Times bestseller about it. So why were we receiving such unusually large amounts of praise? After asking myself what made us different, I realized it wasn't our food or our service. It wasn't even our hospitality. It was our people. Our people were the reason we had been so successful. Think about it. What makes a business great? Very simply, it's the quality of the product or the service they provide. But who creates those products and services? It's the people who work there. It's the housekeeper who cleans the house. It's the designer who creates the logo. And it's the coffee roaster who roasts the beans. It's those people that make a business great. It's those people that make a product or service what it is. And the same is true for a restaurant. The food, the service, the decor, those are just the products that a restaurant sells. But it's the people who work there that create and deliver those products. A restaurant needs good chefs to conceptualize, create, and execute its dishes. It needs good bartenders to create delicious cocktails. It needs gracious hosts to welcome the guests, and it needs friendly servers to take care of them throughout the night. So the question becomes, how do you find these people? And once you do, how do you keep them? First, have really great hiring practices. It doesn't matter what business you're in. You need to know exactly what you're looking for. But more importantly, you need to know what you're not looking for. For example, when we're hiring, we always keep in mind that we're looking for people, not positions. We're looking for great people to join our team, not great people to complete a specific task. We don't look for people who have the necessary skills. We look for people who have the necessary desire. And what I mean by that is we look for people who have a strong desire to work with us. Anyone can be taught a skill or a task, but not just anyone can be inspired to care. We don't hire people because they can do a job. We hire people because they want to do a job. And those people are always worth 10 times more than someone with solely great experience. We don't look at resumes. We listen to references. A resume can tell you where someone's worked and how long they've worked there, but what it can't tell you is what kind of person they are. To be honest, we haven't really looked at a resume in almost 2 years. And so far, we haven't regretted that decision once. In fact, quite the opposite. Some of our most successful staff members had little to no restaurant experience when they started. For example, one of our front-of-the-house managers started as an unpaid intern almost a year ago with no restaurant experience. And today, she's second in command of the restaurant and a huge part of managing our daily operations. We look for people, not positions. We look for incredible people from all walks of life. We look for great personalities and attitudes. But in order to get these people, you have to create an environment that they want to be in, an environment that they're attracted to, a place that they want to go every day. We always put our people first. They are your main stakeholders. They are the core of your business, more so than your customers or even your investors. And in fact, if ever there was a secret to attracting and retaining great people, that's it. We all know the expression, good help is hard to find, but it's just not true. In fact, it's easy to find. What's hard to find is a good environment. And I like to think of our business as proof. We no longer have to go out looking for these incredible people anymore. They come looking for us. Turnover is no longer an issue. Yeah, in our first year, we lost like 3 to 5 of our opening staff, but we also gained 37 new team members. In fact, today, we have the opposite problem. We have too many people that we want to hire. So every once in a while, I find myself in this funny situation where I'll have a guest come up to me and say, "Thank you so much for an incredible meal." And I always say, "No, thank you for coming." I'll often respond, "I don't know why you're thanking me. I didn't do anything. I didn't take your order. I didn't greet you at the door. I didn't cook your steak, and I didn't pour your wine. In fact, I had nothing to do with your meal." And every time I say that, it reminds me that our business is nothing without the great people that we've collected. It reminds me that these people are the key to our success. So if you asked me 2 years ago what industry I'm in, I'd tell you the restaurant industry. But if you ask me today, I'd tell you I'm in the people industry. It just so happens I work in a restaurant. Thank you.